Do you like country music? Head down to Morris, Manitoba, July 25th, 26th, and 27th for the Howl at the Moon Festival. This year's festival features a number of high-profile acts, including Lone Star, Emerson Drive, and Dean Brody, as well as a host of local Manitoba artists such as Greg Arcade, Franny Klein, Aaron Starr, Chris Michael, and many, many more. The festival started as an event to bring a huge opportunity to local Manitoba artists by having everyone sharing a huge bill, and it's only grown since its inception. There will be shuttle buses from various locations if you can't drive, there's camping, day passes are available, weekend-long festival passes are available, and a lot more. You can find tickets and more information at howlatthemoonfest.com, and be sure to follow the festival on Facebook or Instagram. Hey folks, this is a conversation with country singer Brian Jacobs. Brian's from Morden, and he's been involved in the Manitoba music scene for a long time, but he only recently decided to go solo and try a career as a country artist. He's been a lifelong fan of country music, and we have a lot of interesting conversation about his background, some of his history playing in other types of bands, and how he kind of ended up on this path. Brian recently released his debut album, Highways and Back Roads. We talk about the record, we talk about some of his inspirations, some of the challenges of being an older artist trying to break into the Winnipeg music scene, especially as an outsider from a rural community, and a lot more. It's a fun conversation, definitely a guy who should be on your radar. Give it a listen, and I hope you like it. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Park Theatre, Winnipeg's premier concert and event venue. If you want to find out all the great shows they have coming up, go to myparktheatre.com.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network.
So welcome to Witness Radio. I'm in Tim Hortons. It's funny because I often end up in Robin's Donuts, and the reason that I choose Robin's is because it kind of sucks and no one's there. So it's always like the quieter of the two.
Right.
Tim's has a potential, like some soccer team will show up and just crowd the place, but Robin's is always dead. But I've noticed a lot of Robin's are closing early.
Oh,
so it doesn't work anymore. So we're here though, and I'm here with Brian Jacobs, who has not been on the show before and is not even from Winnipeg.
No.
But I'm glad you made the trek to come down here. And
it was a great day for a drive.
yeah, right on. So I just like to totally frame the conversation here.
Yeah.
I first heard about you through the Moonlit Road,
Yeah.
who have been on the show before, and they're a country influenced act. And I would, from what I've heard, I would suggest that you are more in the country vein.
Yes.
But I would. Maybe let's just start off by you kind of explaining what it is you do, just a Coles Notes version of where you're coming from musically.
Yeah. So I started out as a 17-year-old playing in top 40 pop and rock bands.
Right.
I did a short stint with a country group shortly after playing bass, and then I led a three-piece 50s, 60s band doing doo-wops and stuff like that. That came back around full circle, did some classic rock covers, and then country. Country in the 90s really started to take off, and that's where we were really pushing it. And then it kind of fell away. So anyway, I just kept playing in cover bands, just doing everything from Willie Nelson to AC/DC.
Sure. Whatever people wanted to hear,
right?
Yeah.
Basically a jukebox live band, right? And then that what's always lingered in my mind is been country. That's something that's been my roots. And a couple of years ago, just decided to get off the pot and do something about it, and not marijuana, but just decide to make a decision and do something for a change. And decided to start to write some of my own stuff. And had some huge encouragement from Jordan was one of them, and a few other acts that kind of. I know you've had Greg Arcade on
here
before, and I've touched base with Greg. And
Greg's been on the show probably more than anyone else over the years.
Okay. Yeah. And he was another good push. He just he just said, "Do it, man! Like, what are you waiting for?"
He's very good, I think, at encouraging people who are sort of unsure about where to go with their thing, and he just is very persuasive. I think is really the best way to put it.
Just do it. Like, what are you even thinking about it?
Yeah. So was the country thing, like your own music, was that always kind of simmering in the background, or did you have to sort of get the I don't know what the word is, but like bravery up to sort of go that level aside from cover bands?
I've toyed with writing in the past. Okay. Writing is not a strong suit of mine, so I've been toying with in the past, and the people that I've played with, bandmates, have always said, "Well, that sounds like this," or "That sounds like that." So I've always shied away from it. And until about a year and a half ago, I just said, screw it. I'm going to write it, and if it sounds like somebody else's song, too damn bad.
Doesn't matter,
Just whatever.
It's a good attitude to have.
It is what it is, right? Yeah. I'm too old now to worry about what people are going to say and apologize for it. So it is what it is. If you don't like it, don't buy it. That's fine.
Well, it's almost an unusual position you're in that you are doing this later in life, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are starting out when they're like 19, 20 with their own, especially now because they have the capability to record their own stuff at home and everything. And so how has that been for you? Just kind of, because all these people
feeling the old guy.
Yeah.
It's totally what it feels like. Yeah. That was one of my first questions I said to Greg was, I said, I'm pushing 50.
Yeah.
Like, am I too old for this?
Yeah.
And he said, hell no. But that's great, right?
Yeah.
You just go ahead and do it.
Oh, I mean, country too. You're in maybe a good genre for that, where there are a lot of older artists who can.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could pull off the bunk thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, you could try.
I could try.
See it works. Yeah.
Didn't work for Garth Brooks, but whatever.
Right, with the hair and the South Soul patch.
Yeah. Chris Gaines' emo thing that didn't work out for him.
So.
Some night, the way you moved through the room, no matter what I tried, it never felt right. My heart was pounding, I was consumed. What's this that's happening to me? Must be me falling for you. All these feelings locked up inside me, coming out whenever I see you. Well, I've held my heart back for so long. I'm so tired of being all alone. I'm gonna let my love show. Tonight, no more denying. Gotta say it, can't let it be. So much is hanging on the line. Can I be brave enough? Can I say it? Will it be in time? That I'm in love. I've held my heart back for so long.
as far as just like a kind of a learning curve into getting into what the local country scene is in Manitoba. I mean, you said you've always liked country. But and I'm assuming you've seen a lot of the artists, over the years. But was there a kind of a learning curve for you to sort of become part of the community, or?
Well, yeah, it was an interesting thing. Probably about 6 years ago, I started playing bass with a guy local to me. Okay. So he's from the Morden Winkler area, and he's been writing his own stuff for years. He's just released his third album.
Oh well,
and it's very traditional country. So playing bass and singing with him, I've had no stress to play in that.
Sure.
And he got nominated for male vocalist a few years back for the MCMAs.
Okay, cool.
So he, as the leader of the band, he said, "Well, let's take the whole band and let's go and take this experience." And of course, Doc Walker. I mean, I've watched those guys grow up.
Sure, yeah, I bet.
Playing from the Carmen Fair to doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, yeah, which is a much higher level.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I was playing a pizza joint in Portage when Chris came walking in, right? So, like, I mean, I've been at it as long, but just not to that level, and I just saw what else was out there.
Okay.
And I thought, why wouldn't I just try it?
Yeah.
Actually put an effort to it instead of saying, "Well, I didn't really try it. It's no big deal." But give it the old college try and see what could come out of it. So that's kind of what got me to where I am.
And how long ago did you actually make that decision to start?
Well, writing's probably in about 10, 12 years.
Okay.
But really taking it serious has only been in the last 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. One thing I always like when I talk to someone who is not from Winnipeg, because I feel like, I've lived here my whole life. I've been involved in the music scene since I was like in grade 7 or something, right? I mean, I'm 37 now. It's quite a bit of time. So I feel like I have a good grasp on what's going on. But outside the city, not at all.
Right.
And so I don't know what's happening in Morden. Like, musically, I'm sure like anywhere else, there's a lot of people playing music at various levels of success. Yeah. And there's probably some really cool stuff that I'm just not, I haven't heard about. But I mean, is there like a fairly bustling music scene there? I mean, are there bands that are regularly playing?
Yeah, there's. I think we have a very strong music scene. Some great, wonderful musicians there. Not as many as you'd have here,
of course,
obviously, but per capita, I think we're holding our own fairly well.
Okay.
And I've talked to all of them in my short journey that I've had so far, getting advice from them. So, guys that have had some decent success and are now just doing it as a hobby, to guys just like me that are still trying to make a name or some kind of a career out of it. Or at least just enjoying making music.
For sure, yeah.
So and more than just cover bands. Like guys that are writing their own stuff and coming out with things. And I think it's cool being from that area to have everything from blues to punk to rock, and a little bit of everything in between, all as an inspiration to draw from locally.
Which is different than everyone in Winnipeg's going to get, because maybe ours is larger, but you have very specific things that people wouldn't have heard here, right? So,
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I 20 plus years ago, and I was trying to break into the music scene here in Winnipeg. It's tough. You have so many more people and so great talent here. It's hard to cut the mustard.
Well, and there's so many connections already made too, right? I mean, people are all in each other's bands. They all know each other. Getting a show, they're going to give it to their friend before they give it to some guy they never heard of.
They've never heard of, exactly.
Yeah. So you have to. It's like an extra level of.
It's a new level of networking that you just got to try.
Yeah. One thing that I always like doing. I mean, I hoard is a bad word, but I collect as much local music as I can find. Like, I mean, I still listen to CDs and tapes and records. I never got into the Spotify stuff or anything. I never stopped with physical media, so I'm always on the lookout for CDs, tapes, whatever by local bands. So I every once in a while will find these really weird country records from like rural Manitoba, and the guys are like 90 years old, and it's just someone recorded them and put it on a CDR.
Stu Clayton.
And there's just so much of that though. Like. Is there a lot of that out where you are? A lot of old guys who probably could have recorded something and would have been great, but just never did.
There's There's a handful of guys already that,
Yeah.
I can go to what used to be our Radio Shack,
Okay.
which is non-existent anymore.
Every town had a Radio Shack.
Every
Yeah.
town had a
Yeah.
Radio Shack. And
Yeah.
you can still go there, and there's a rack of local artists.
That's awesome.
That, everything from Altona to Manitou and Pile
Yeah,
Mound,
yeah.
that whole small community area.
Yeah.
There's always people out there that's playing.
Yeah.
And the more obscure the small town is, it seems the more talent there even seems to be.
And some of the stuff is great. Like, I find some CDs I've never heard of the guy. You look at the picture, he looks like he's about to die because he's so old. And he's sitting there with a banjo, missing some teeth. And you listen to it, it's like, why did he never catch on?
Exactly.
And it's because he never left whatever small community of 20 people, right?
Yeah. And he just would literally record and play on his cassette player and just play it.
And that adds to the whole appeal of it, too. It sounds even better because it's so crappy quality. Yeah.
Just adds to the magic.
Yeah. So is there, as far as the possibility of playing shows locally, is that kind of a big thing for you, going to little communities and playing at halls or whatever they have?
Yeah, it's the opportunities to play are less than there would be, say, in the city.
Of course, yeah, because there's less venues.
There's less venues, and there's only so many people to draw from.
Yeah.
So we can saturate the market pretty easily.
For sure, no doubt. Yeah.
So that's the struggle. I don't know. I think back to when I started playing as a teenager. It's just like, where do we play?
Yeah.
Where do we find gigs?
Yeah. Well, once you play the one place in town, right? What's the next step?
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Right. So that's just learning and networking. Again, it's just networking with people and trying to find places to play and play for free, pretty much, just to get a gig.
Well, because one of the things, I've talked to, one of the good things about doing this show, as long as I've been doing it, is that I've talked to, people at various levels of success, whatever genre they're playing. And some country artists, Quentin Blair is a good example of someone who's, doing very well for himself. And I remember him telling me that he has a ton of success playing, going kind of tours of rural Manitoba, every little rodeo, every little fair, and that's his crowd, right?
Absolutely.
So, is that a circuit that you're able to get on, or is that more for the higher profile? Or?
Well, I'm thinking it's right now. I'm trying to figure out what my market is. Who's my demographic, right? Because having played in so many cover bands for so long, they kind of know me as that guy that could do that Willie Nelson or also do that Def Leppard tune.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to now just say,
I'm a country singer.
I'm just doing country, right? Like, well, come on, can't you play that, can't you play You Shook Me All Night Long?
They know
or something?
you know it, right?
It's like, well, no, I'm kind of trying to do this now, right? So I'm, with that, it's just, I find it interesting trying to not rebrand myself, but just really let people know who I am. Okay. And that's what I've been hoping for, is that my influence that I've had over the 30 years of playing music has been poured into just what I have here. Okay. It's not a lot of songs, but the 6 originals and the 2 covers that are on there say a little bit about the journey that I've been on so far. Okay. So I think in that, I'm hoping that somebody can say, yeah, I can see that, or I can relate to that somehow.
Sure.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, there's no one there to dry your tears. Oh, I'd hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. No, you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. Known it from the moment moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, and I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. Storms are raging on the rolling sea, and on the highway of regret. Winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. Can make you happy, make your dreams come true. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. To make you feel my love.
Where are you coming from as far as, I mean, because especially nowadays, every genre of music has 600 subgenres. I mean, so as far as country music goes, that's such a wide tent now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have something that basically sounds like pop music with an accent, and then you have, you have the very, very rootsy stuff,
Right.
And then there's in
Maroon
between.
5 with a banjo.
Right, exactly, yeah. So, I mean, based on what I've heard, you're not in that category.
I'm
But
not, no.
Who are you kind of, I guess, looking to as inspirations for?
Well,
What you do.
I've lost touch with current commercial radio. I don't get it. I've listened to a very little bit of radio, and I have a hard time finding songs that I can listen to
Sure.
without hitting next.
Yeah.
So what I listen to for music isn't on the radio anymore.
Right.
So artists like Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen, which is some Texas boys that are, in my opinion, like country. That's what I think country is sounding like, but it's got a little bit of Texas grit to it. So it's classic rock and country kind of mixed together.
Yeah.
I think I'm maybe a little bit softer. There's some traditional country nods that I've put out, and it's just part of the process. My single on a roll is I had a radio buddy listen to it who works out of Olds, Alberta, and he's like, kind of sounds like you're trying to sound like what's on the radio now.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, that's funny. I wrote that song 20 years ago.
Right, and you're not listening to what's on the radio
And
now
I'm
anyway.
listening to what's on the radio.
Yeah.
So I kind of laughed. It's like, well, that's great that it's
Something's working.
it's working.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So radio's finally catching up to me. No.
Maybe, yeah. Well, and I guess like the reason I asked that is because how do you kind of? We were just talking about how it's difficult to get into the break into the Winnipeg music scene, being an outsider, and especially you're older than a lot of the bands. They people in Morden know you. People in all these towns know you,
Sure.
but Winnipeg maybe not so much.
No.
So how do you kind of market yourself then to Winnipeg, and where do you kind of want to fit in the city, or do you?
I would love to. I just don't know how yet. So I try making friends. I try making connections. Greg got me a gig playing at the Stampede last year in Morris.
Oh, cool.
Which was kind of like the first time I played with my band with my label.
Right.
So this is me, and that's what I tried to do, and we got a great response. People loved it. Thought we should play it up in Dauphin. Well, that'd be a great gig to have. You know, but as you know, as far as trying to play the A circuit, I don't think that's what I'm trying to go for. I don't know. I'd love to fit myself on a bill somewhere and see if I could play even house concerts.
Yeah, those are the best shows sometimes.
I think those are great.
Yeah, they're awesome,
I like the intimate, the interactions you'd have with the crowd rather than trying to put on a big past the perimeter show or the Petrick kind of show. Or
where you're kind of looking down on the audience.
And everybody's. You know, it's not bro country.
It's not. No, I didn't get that.
It's not drinking beer and sitting on the tailgate. It's not. I sat on the tailgate drinking beer, writing it, but I mean that
doesn't come through.
It doesn't come through on the music.
Well, one thing I've kind of always, I'm curious what your opinion is on this. I've always kind of thought that Winnipeg, and I don't know if this extends to the rest of the province, but people here, they love country music, they love roots music, folk, blues, anything in those kind of genres, bluegrass, that are all sort of interconnected. But they seem to like it with a bit of dirt and grit and edge to it. And I often wonder if it's mainly just because a lot of these guys used to be in punk bands and are now playing country music.
Maybe.
But it seems like Winnipeg really appreciates kind of something that's broken but honest about being broken, if that makes sense. Like
that I get.
Does that?
I'm not polished. That's by any means. So,
yeah.
So I could latch to that so easily because I'm It's like I'm not this and not that. And it's a bit of a broken of all of that. And this is the way it is.
Not pure, but authentic, right? Like,
I'd rather be known as to be authentic than a poor man's copy of something else that's out there.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than
you want to be you doing whatever it is you do.
Trying to be the smooth, the slick guy with the pretty face.
Right, and the white cowboy hat.
That ship sailed.
Yeah. So when did this come out? This is Highways and Backroads. It came out really recently, right?
It came out this year. Okay. Yeah. So just earlier this year, I had the CD release party back in. When did we have that? June.
I think I saw it over recently. Yeah.
It was just not that long ago. I'm still waiting for my merch to come. So I have T-shirts and hats and everything coming. But I got a little late on there. Again, it's just the learning curve.
Figuring out how
to do these things.
Well, and I mean, I think it's a learning curve for everyone though, because it's not the way it used to be with record labels and stuff. You're doing it all yourself, and so you have to learn how to do. You got to packaging, cover art, marketing.
That's been the hardest part.
Stuff. Yeah.
There's the musical side, which is hard enough to figure out what voice you want to have.
Sure,
and if you have a voice and write music, playing music is the easy part. Right. So there's just generating it and making it that's original, and then there's the business side that I have no clue. And I just ask.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat.
I must have annoyed people with the amount of questions I was getting. But in that process, my connections that I've made with others in my area, like other musicians, I go, we have to keep together and support each other. Hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? Moonlit Road was the one that said, you got to get on and talk to the witch police. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not going to go and stalk the guy, but sure, I would love to get on his show.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to have you. Well, actually, to talk about that for a minute. One of the things that I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. Just every week interviewing people of whatever genres, and I get a lot of people asking to be on the show, which is great because it makes my job easier.
Sure, it does.
Finding interview subjects, but I feel like a lot of artists will be send me something, and it's very clear that they are just they're there to promote their CD, and that's it. They don't want to have a conversation. And you can kind of tell by their social media presence. And your Twitter, you are actively talking to people, making jokes, having conversations. And that kind of made me think, well, this guy's going to be fun to talk to because he is at least engaging. So I think you're doing that part right, in the sense that you're actually having conversations with people instead of just, here's where you buy my album, here's where you buy my album, right?
Yeah, right. And go here, go here.
And a lot of people just kind of robotically do that. And it's sort of, I mean, it's a hard thing to master social media in the first place because there's so much, it's constantly changing and everything. But I think now that it's a way that people get their music out there and make the connections, I think it's kind of makes me sad when people are just using it as like a selling tool, right? Like
I find that I don't enjoy that either. And in the process of following and liking others and stuff like that. I see what others are doing, and I go, I don't want to make sure I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like just here's where you can buy my stuff, and I don't care about you. But
it's weird.
I don't. That's not genuine to me. So,
no.
So I'd rather just at least have a conversation with whoever wants to listen.
For sure, yeah.
Right?
And then at least you can kind of, instead of just here it is, listen to it if you want to.
Yeah.
Maybe people will hear this conversation and be like, oh, this guy sounds interesting. I wonder what he sounds like. I want to check out,
Right.
So I don't know.
Maybe I'm a better conversationalist than I am a musician, but
we'll
take it for what it is.
Yeah.
I'm really, really broken.
There you go, Winnipeg. He's broken. give him a gig.
And broke.
Yeah.
No.
So now that this is out there, are you planning on doing any tours or anything to promote it of the area maybe or?
Yeah, we're hoping that probably in fall, a buddy of mine, Ed Wayne, who is the other guy that I play with.
Okay.
We're thinking of packing our guitars and taking off and just trying to get home shows. Like that's really what we'd like to do.
Those
little
best,
house concerts.
Absolutely the best shows. Yeah.
Just we've done a couple of gigs now, the two of us, where we just support each other in what we're playing and we sing backups for each other and that sort of stuff. And it's really worked well.
Yeah.
And being that, even though he's been writing longer, he struggles with the show part. And I think he admits that. And I've been playing in bar bands, social bands
so you
for
have
so
the show
long. I have
pat,
the show down pat, but
Yeah.
I don't have my original stuff, right?
Okay.
So we have so much to work off of and learn from each
Yeah.
other.
It's a good idea.
It's been a great friendship to have. So we kind of want to exploit that a little bit if we can.
Okay.
Sometimes I like taking the back road. The best ones are hard to be found. Sometimes I like taking the back road. It ain't always the longest way around. Sometimes I like taking the long way. You and me are the only ones around. 'Cause when you take the long way, well, that's when love can be found. 'Cause love is what we all need, and we all need to feel like we belong. So no matter that you might be, know that in your heart lives the song. Love is holy. Love isn't lonely. Love is fully. Love is solely. The song. Love is holy. Love isn't lonely. Love is fully. Love is solely you and me. it's only you and me. Love is holy. Love is lonely. Love is holy. Love is only you and me.
Do you usually play just solo, or do you? I mean, I know you have a band on the record, but
Yeah, I've always played with a band.
Okay.
My weak point would be playing solo.
Okay.
Because I don't feel I can support myself. I feel a little naked that way, but...
and that's is that part of the reason you want to do this too, like just to get out there.
I need to get better at it.
Yeah.
So I see that as an area that I need to work on, and I get a chance to test that out August 17th if I can plug anything.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
MCMA has their songwriting circle
Yeah,
at Trans-Canada Brewery.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm going to be one of however many that are there
Yeah.
playing some tunes that they wrote, and we'll see what goes.
Yeah, it's probably a really good way to network too, right?
That's what I'm hoping.
You get the whole community there, the whole
Yeah.
local country community.
Exactly, yeah. And some of them will not have ever seen me before, and some may have seen me from past bands that have been in.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, you're doing original stuff now, so yeah.
Oh, it's that guy again.
It's that guy again. Ah, geez, play Smazy Daisy.
Yeah. But no, that's a really good experience, I would think. I mean, I keep hearing about those shows, and I've never actually been able to get out to one, but...
Well, Jordan from Moonlit
Yep.
Road, actually, I just chatted with him, and he's like, I'm going to the same one, but he'd been at one already,
Right.
and he told me about it. It's great. He says, it's just so laid back, and
Yeah.
everybody takes a turn, so I
Yeah.
said, okay, well, is there anything for me to worry about, right? But no, yeah, he's been encouraging. He said, we got it. We got it.
Cool. So this is maybe another question that I like asking just because I'm curious how people do it. But I'm glad you released a CD. As I mentioned before,
Yeah.
I listen to physical music primarily because I refuse to.
Yeah.
I think it's because I have all this stuff already. I don't want to re-obtain all of it on digital form. So
Exactly.
But did you? I mean, how did you kind of come about that situation? Did you think that were you always planning on doing a physical CD or?
I would actually, CD for sure. I even thought maybe cassette.
Yeah.
But I was getting a bit of grief even back home. Why even bother with CDs? I don't I don't even own one anymore. I said, well,
A lot of people have heard that.
come
from you.
on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't bought a car that's new enough that doesn't have a CD
Either
player.
have I,
in it. So
I don't think I will be anytime soon either.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I did is I obviously put it out digitally as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to now, right?
Yeah, and so I got download cards made so they can get it at a discount or whatever,
Sure.
and then physical copies because that's the cool part for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
As,
well, you
as
actually
a
have your
kid
name
growing
on
up
it-
with
on an album.
records,
Yeah, no
that's
doubt.
the cool part.
Yeah.
If I could afford vinyl, I would have done vinyl too.
I think there's a lot of people in that situation where
Yeah.
they would love to do it, but it's
Yeah.
just the price is too.
Yeah,
It's unrealistic.
Maybe
yeah.
they could press one for me,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'll mortgage
yeah.
my house again and see if I can get one.
Yeah, but I mean, you spend the time to put this together, and the packaging is awesome. It looks like what it sounds like. I mean, I think you get the idea from looking at the cover.
Yeah,
So,
that's the
it's-
hope anyway. Yeah.
So it's nice that you have to have the actual. Yeah.
Well,
hard copy.
the tangible thing is the huge part.
Yeah.
And even if people don't have a CD player, some of the conversations I've had is, you have a show, they want to buy a memento, even if they don't have a CD
They want to
player.
support however they can. Yeah, for sure.
And
Well,
so that's a great way to support.
I've had bands on here that have put out tapes and they never own a tape player. Like, these are people who are quite a bit younger than me,
Right.
And I'm excited because you put out a tape, awesome. I listen to
Sure.
tapes still, like I never
Yeah.
stopped, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I don't know how to play it though. It comes with a download card. I was like, no, I don't want you keep the download card. I'll take the tape. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll listen to
exactly.
this at home, but yeah.
Yeah, I may just pirate this onto a cassette anyway.
Yeah, just so you have one. Yeah.
So I have one.
Awesome. Who did the cover art?
It was a guy from Morden. He's now called Rogue Dan. That's his business name. You can find him on Instagram.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice.
Graphic designer, and he's what did he have? A 10-page questionnaire for me to fill out after we've talked for an hour.
Oh, really? Wow.
Trying to figure out my brand.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's what he came up with. So I think it was spot on.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about it too is I find that for whatever reason, country is the one genre, country and rap actually, the two genres where you almost always just see a headshot of a guy.
Right. Yeah.
So this is different. It stands out in the sense that it's not just you with a cowboy hat or something, right? Like, there's so many. I don't know.
I tried. It looked dorky.
Did it? Yeah.
I just I wanted to get.
But this is classier, right? It's like
that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So if people are hearing about you for the first time on here, and I'm sure there probably are a few, right?
Oh, I hope there would be somebody new. Yeah. Exactly.
What's the best thing for them to do to find out, if they want to hear your music or they want to find out when you're playing next?
Other than the August 17th show, there's nothing really coming.
Right.
Other than hoping to pack up the Cavalier and head west, maybe.
Sure.
Literally the Cavalier.
I was going to say. Well, the good thing with this being a podcast, though, is someone can hear it a year from now, right? So
exactly.
By then you might have more shows. So what's kind of is there a hub where people can find that information?
Yeah, so you can find me on social media. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I even have a website that I try to keep updated. It's just another monster. It's hard to keep.
Yeah.
It's probably so outdated already because that needs to change every 2 weeks apparently. So I have a hard time with that. But so just follow that. I probably respond to Twitter and Instagram the most.
Yeah, I think Twitter's how we started talking.
Yeah, Facebook is more for family and friends. It seems.
Sure. Yeah.
It's hard to generate a fan base, I think, on Facebook, but.
Yeah. So, and is this available? Obviously, you said all the streaming services, right?
Yeah, everything, even ones I've never heard of before, like Deezer and
whatever else,
Tidal, whatever.
Okay.
Like, there's a million of them out there. But yeah, you can buy it off of CD Baby. It's on Bandcamp. Okay. It's you can track me down, and I'll get you a download card for real cheap if you want digital.
Right. And I imagine shows is the best place to buy the physicals.
Shows is great for physicals. Okay. Yeah, I'll mail one out if I have to. Yeah. I personally have to drive one out to Minneapolis soon because a lady came to my CD release party and I didn't. She came before she came the night before and I didn't have them there.
Oh, okay.
And so I was playing the next night as well, and that was the CD release. And I didn't even have them here, right? I can go get them. Like I live 3 blocks from here, right? But whatever, she had to go. But anyway, so. Yeah, Minneapolis is like an hour and some away from Morden yet. So
that's cool that she came down to the show.
It was great. Yeah. Great supporter of local music, that lady. That's cool. Her and her husband come out all the time to shows out in Morden. So it's awesome.
Are there any other bands or solo artists that you would recommend in Morden that people should check out? Because I think, having you here might be like, you can maybe...
Give me a chance to plug some?
Yeah, some people that I've never heard of, right?
Okay, so if what I have isn't country enough for you, check out Ed Wayne, or Ed Wayne and the North Border Band. That's like Alan Jackson down to Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Like it's true redneck country. Still on the tractor.
Sure.
To me, he's more Don Williams than he's Johnny Cash.
Okay.
That's really the kind of nature who he is.
Yeah.
So if you love Don Williams, you'll love his music.
Okay.
Warren Friesen, wonderful wordsmith. The way he writes a melody and a lyric is incredible. Guitar Lady is actually his song.
Okay.
But it was too country for him to put out, so I begged for that chance to send it out.
Cool.
If you like blues, check out Link and the Mustaches. They just came out of a bit of a hiatus. They're all like the best of Winkler has to offer for musicians.
Okay, cool.
A great harp player, so he's blues. Blues is through. I think they play Times Change once in a while, so they've been.
Sounds like
they
would fit there. Yeah.
Let's see who else. Moonlit Road, of course, that's out from Pilot Mound area, but. And then there's just El Ray and Jay, husband and wife.
I think duo. I've seen the name. Yeah.
She's really a kind of a pop country focused.
Okay.
So Taylor Swift-ish sort of
right,
stuff.
Right.
Super sweet people. And then of course Stu Clayton's from our area, and you gotta love his because he's as old as your grandpa's saw, and he can play it like a fiddle. It's amazing.
Cool.
The stuff that guy does. He's like our Stompin' Tom. That guy. He's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
right
there's lots of music out that way. We just had our Back 40 festival not that long ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So there's lots of local talent out there. Jamie Giesbrecht does a kind of a soul gospel thing.
Oh, cool.
She sings a bit on one of my songs here. The guy that produced the album, Mark Fair, and recorded it, he's got a band called the Kwanzaa Brothers. Do a lot of cover stuff, but so they're out from that way as well, and they put on a lot of shows. So they love country music too. So
cool. I imagine there's a lot of incestuousness in the music scene there, right? Just based on the size of the population.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, everybody knows everybody. Everybody helps each other out, kind of thing.
For sure. Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, people should check out the social media and find out where you're playing and then hear the album. Yeah. And what was the show again? August 17th at the Trans-Canada Brewery. Is that what it's called? I think so. Brewing Company.
It used to be Fort Garrick, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a Manitoba Country Music Association songwriting circle thing there going on. So
awesome.
Should be a good time.
All right, awesome. If you want to hear more episodes of this show, including ones featuring some of the people we've talked about here, you can go to witchpolice.com. All 390 whatever episodes are there for free download and streaming. And you can also tune in on Sunday nights at midnight on 101.5 UMFM, and those are older episodes that kind of get a second boost. So, it's June now, might not air until the fall sometime or even later, but by then you may have more shows. You might be working on some new stuff. Who knows, right? So it's kind of the cool thing about it's always available as a podcast, but it's just that extra little bump for the artist when they eventually air it. So,
thank you.
Right on. Thanks for having me at Tim Hortons, where I showed up.
Thanks for inviting me to Tim Hortons, where you showed up.
Right on. Okay, thanks a lot.
Always a lady, her long hair hanging down. 2 shows a night, singing and playing guitar. And she never knew about me, I didn't mind anyway. I just wanted to watch her singing and playing guitar. Sang, love's been cruel to me. Oh, don't you know? Her voice filled the room, along with the smoke. Guitar lady, don't be blue, 'cause you know someday I'll sing along with you. Just need to get my courage up. It's at the bottom of this cup. Guitar lady, don't be blue. Well, I heard her on the radio, her pretty voice sing. Yeah, she went and left me sitting all alone. Didn't know I was the #1 fan, sitting way in the back, the drink in my hand. And she sang, love's been cruel to me. Oh, don't you know? And a voice filled the room, along with the smoke. Guitar lady, don't be blue, 'cause you know someday I'll sing along with you. I just need to get my courage up. It's at the bottom of this cup. Guitar lady, don't be blue. know someday